Fire, what you saying?
Yes, I read, you know.
Serious thing. We are here again, bald head and dread. Give thanks for everyone supporting the thing from those times till now. Hopefully you enjoy this reason we bring to you. Fire, what reason about?
Stress. Silent murder, at them saying.
I'm telling you. Yeah. I don't think stress too silent again. I think stress silent again. Yeah, we got the loud, super loud.
Yeah, we really want to reason how we think we as a people, as a nation, we're at an all-time high as it relates to stress. And there's so much different polls and so much different websites and indicators. But there's a poll called Gallup, which gives you certain news and information. It said the most recent data shows that nearly half of all Americans, that's 50%, report frequently experiencing stress. And stress is up 16 points over the past 2 decades and the highest in Gallup's trend to date. So,
and the stress is so diverse, right? There's so many stressors out there, right? But Fire, why do you think people are so stressed? I observe it. Like I can literally I really pick up on energy if I ain't trying to weird nobody out, but I can really just feel like the stress coming off people in certain areas, right? They just it just really comes off their body. And I'm noticing more and more people are just their breather pattern is just full of stress, right? They're just totally off. Why do you think people are so stressed right now?
It's not a one full answer. No. There's a different thing that we have to break down because
it's a layered complex.
A whole layered things. I think there's certain things though we can clearly see are determinants towards the stress. We have the finances that play one of the major role. We think about anybody being stressed. We think about the individual relationships. There's a breakdown in relationships across the board, and not just relationships from a seductive standpoint. Relationships on a whole.
So we got finances and stressful human situations.
Yeah, and then we have political
already. Fire.
We have political adherences where a lot of people say I cause them all of these different things. So there's so much different factors where take place, and then the rise of social media and all of these things now where create a comparison, stealing the joy, leading up to more anxiety. Anxiety now internalized
environment.
Yeah, so what heap of things.
The thing I notice is that, man, the thing I can't figure out is that I know that we're supposed to be more progressive and more advanced, but it seems like we haven't progressed in a lot of areas, especially in regards to our relationship with work. So the propaganda videos I used to watch was that, and even material I read over years is that technology will bring more free time, leisure time to people because, things would be more automated and work should reduce. People have more time for themselves and their family or to enjoy the electronic appliances that they were selling. So I don't know if they were saying that to sell the thing or they really believed it at the time. But I don't understand this current why we work so much. What is the justification of being at your job so long? When study after study shows that if you are in a place for 8 hours, maybe you've done 2 hours of work consistently.
One, because when you think about it, the means of survival, which I think most people are good at the generic answer in regards to the survival concept, where most people have a one dimension. They're not multifaceted when it comes to earnings. Yeah. It's not like they have more than one streams of income. Yeah. So they have to depend on the stream of income. And then there's that fear factor associated with losing that job because they think about all that they have to do on a daily basis that is covered by finances, and that financial strength comes from the job. So I think that's the main area.
I wanted to clarify the question for why do corporations still work with the 8-hour model? That's what I mean.
Oh.
Because they know already majority, that's why it's so mixed up at work. Yeah. Fire, when you're really on the hustle and busy, you don't have time for nothing else. So the fact people have so much time for talking, mix up news carrying to create all these issues at the job shows that people have time. Yeah. And nothing's being produced. So why don't we shorten the time, really get more, concentrate the production and let people be?
Yeah, because it's not like these humans who are the resources fueling the organization are just there to actually fuel the organization. They're there to control their minds too. Yeah. So it's a whole mental manipulation thing take place, because if you can make that person so invested into your mission, then automatically it now becomes beyond the processes that we've laid out. We're thinking about them being layered to our concept, building our empire for the future, because it's not just about now. Okay, you just mentioned automation, and companies can pay XYZ amount of dollars and get these resources to automate things. When they automate things now, the ask and the request become something of more value now that they can see these type of information. For instance, if a man realize that him look at these trends and the automation show him that the trends that, hey, you're projected to make $6 million in the next 2 years. Yeah. I'm saying, wait, $6 million in the next 2 years? Why can't we make 7? Yeah. Well, we can't make 7. No, the workers have to be going into a project to see how we can project to make 7 million. What additional need to be done? It's just the ego and the ego,
stressing everybody
and
out.
The ego of mankind and a whole, and the concept of manipulation where the corporations them really are pushing a fuel now, and we as the workers now, whether in the system, get caught within the midst of that, and the fear factor now lead we as human beings around now to start carry out this agenda.
I think another thing that's stressful is that the expectation of the lifestyle you should live, right? The idea that you have of your living standard, I think is causing a lot of stress, because most people, it's either not attainable or it's not sustainable. If you get it, how long can you keep it?
Big thought. I repeat that one there again.
What? It's not attainable and it's not sustainable? Yeah, and like how long can you keep it? Because if you do get it, what you have to do to maintain it, you're going to die. Whether physically or spiritually. But you're going to drop dead. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I think that is the stress. Like, I want to maintain this image. I want to maintain this lifestyle. I think we need to really take a look at the lifestyle that we live, why we want to live it, who told us to live it, and how does it work in the holistic frame of our life with all aspects. I saw an article, I should have put it up, but basically they were saying that people in America who are making 50 grand or lower, I think we mentioned this in another reason, they're missing out on meals and they're skipping healthcare, right? I wanted to say, man, there's a lot of talk online about making money and this and that. I personally feel no one should feel bad for struggling financially if you're a responsible person. I want to be clear. I'm not saying you're just out here doing whatever, but you really shouldn't feel bad, because let's do the math, right? If you made any form of raise or increase, which most likely is not the case, it can't compete with inflation. Most things are about 22 to 30% higher. All aspects, like everything, especially food. So if your expenses have increased in a particular area, say food is a big part of people's expense. If your expenses have increased 20% and you don't have that correlation, you don't have to be the 20% of your income, but say like, I don't know, whatever percentage of your income will cover the 20%, right? Because it's broken down. How are you going to maintain when you're going? I don't think people understand the concept of fixed income. This is your only source of income. You're not making any more. You're not making any less. So when your expenses rise, what takes place? Especially for things that you need. So I don't think people are fully understanding. There's talk like, price. I don't think people are fully understanding how the increase in pricing is impacting their ability to purchase and the debt that they may find themselves in.
Yeah. And I think it's a balanced playing field too, in regards to like the group of people who find themselves stressed due to work and certain expectations, because there's two groups. You mentioned one of them in particular, where there's that group where try to sustain that image and knowing that image is not feasible.
Which is not most people, I want to be clear.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture. I think it's a balanced mixture. I don't have the percentage, but it's like a balanced mixture. And then you have the next set of people now who actually get caught in this thing and can't really see them way out. And it doesn't mean that they're at the bottom of the barrel, but it's like a regular everyday existence and this work thing. They get caught up so consuming this work package that every single day now this becomes their life. They're so in depth in this whole work concept, like thinking about deadline of clients and all of these different things and what they have to meet and all of that it becomes their only reality. Yeah. And I think that's now where it becomes detrimental, now where it starts to take over your life. Because one thing funny we realize about the stats that we mentioned earlier is that they mentioned two things in it. They were very funny, actually.
Yeah.
One, every stats I've seen in the past year about stress, women are more stressed than men.
Yeah.
There's a bigger trajectory when it comes to the increase of stress amongst women than men. And then the other context is that when it comes to sleep, with the increase in stress levels rising, there's also a decline in sleeping habits.
Yeah.
So what is the correlation between, where you will feel that the correlation between now sleep becoming less and stress increasing? There must be some correlation.
No, it's there if I had sleep. Yo, sleep is like, it sounded weird when I say this. It's not an academic comment, but I think sleep is more important than your diet.
Mm-hmm. That balance.
It really is. Like, I'm not telling you, that's why I said it's not an academic. It's just like, but I don't think we emphasize the importance of sleep because I've been on both sides where I don't get sleep and when I sleep, and it's a totally different person, bro.
Natural healer.
Dr. Jekyll Hyde or something. Like, really, it's just a totally different vibe. Bowel movements are different. My temperament is different. Skin is different. Bloating is different just from sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that in regards to the sleep and stress, people need to learn how to prepare for sleep and learn how to compartmentalize things.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like, you worrying about something's not going to change it. I think people have this idea like the more they worry about it, it's going to like help it. It's just sitting there stressing you out. You need to go put that in the box, go to sleep, and deal with that another time.
But and there's two aspects to it though, because I think we have to factor in the whole insomnia aspect and what is the cause, the root cause. A lot of these insomnia too. We think about bad practices. We think about some of them can't necessarily be controlled because of stress leading towards insomnia. Because there's a group of people who suffer from insomnia due to the stress, and it keep them body so active, fight or flight constantly that they find it very hard to just relax and go in a wipe mode, as they would call it, and relax and sleep and calm them nerves. And the rise of anxiety over time now. So we realize a lot of these different things taking place within the corporation, outside of the corporation, within the system. All of them feeding into our structure and get into a psyche and start determining the way how we actually move, the way we function, the things we say, the things that we do. And we don't realize. So most of the stressors then we actually lead we down the wrong path. And most of we as human beings don't know them or identify them.
I think our society is like anti-peace. Like, you know how we're saying it's anti-family?
Yeah.
It's anti-peace. And you have to really work, unfortunately, and work a lot to find any form of peace. You're not going to be no peace 24/7 like no TV show. I'm not talking about that. But to increase the moment.
That's tranquility in the mind,
Yeah, have that peace, tranquility within your mind and for longer periods of time, for more periods of time, and especially with the sleep. What I notice is that I've never really struggled personally. I don't know why, but I never really struggled with like stress keeping me up at night. I can't speak on that, right? But I can't speak on going to sleep late fire. You know what I'm saying? And not getting the proper amount of sleep, But what I even had to do is I have to have a regimen that works for me where I have to stretch and drink my teas and ease off. And I'm not a big believer of the screen time because I read it, right? You could do gray screen. I think it's what you're watching on the screen. I think as you get closer to sleep time, you can't really watch videos. Especially for me, like I'll do this thing. I was listening to music. Judgment. I'm not going to sleep fire. And I'm a man. I'm just going to listen to more music. And there's something about the music that stimulate me and get me going where that shouldn't happen before bed. Now, with the screen thing, I noticed personally I can't say it's for everybody. As long as I'm reading on the phone, I'll go to sleep. But if I'm watching anything on the phone, I'm not going to go to sleep. So I think the phone argument comes to like watching stuff, especially stuff that's like stimulating, make you laugh and all that. But I experience whether I'm reading a book or reading on the phone, I'm going to tone down and go to sleep. So I don't know about the blue light and all that. I know a lot of people talk about blue light and the melatonin and all that. I'm not sure about that. But my personal experience is that when you're watching something now, or I'm watching something, it does tend to disrupt my sleep or I go to sleep. I think it's just too much for the brain when I'm supposed to be breaking down. I said all that to say is that, man, especially for the brothers, you need a regimen. I encourage the stretching, meditating, praying, whatever your thing is. You definitely need to stretch You need to get some tea in there, fire. You know, I got my combination. I mix a little hibiscus in there with the lemon balm, the chamomile, and the valerian. And if I got the blue vervine, easy like Sunday morning, fire.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, fire. Just there, next thing you know, you're on this type of vibe, man.
Yeah, you know, I like how they mentioned that too, because we sometimes we tend to talk about stress, but we don't talk about the things them what we can use to alleviate stress. And I feel like there's certain natural
big time
ailments, so we can certain stress. Because they mentioned that too, like skull cap is a herb. When I tell a lot of people say skull cap with mixed with the chamomile and these things,
easy like Sunday.
You can make your and with the same sour sap to where for calm the nerve. Because I think most of the things them where when it comes to stress is we have nerve problem. If you realize, especially post COVID-19, a lot of people nerves are on edge and them always
stress them out, stressed out.
It's stressed out, and I feel like if we don't have the remedies them for combat the anxiety, for combat the fast movements, for combat the overthinking, for combat all of these different things, we're gonna get caught in a situation where the stress I go get to our brain so much that we're gonna become so confused and with blood vessel, all of these different things are go out of place. Where I realize a certain chronic diseases where never normally attract a person of your magnitude might start to attract a person of your magnitude too.
And that's why I mentioned stretching. So obviously meditation at night if you can, or praying, that's your thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I notice with the stretching, fire, when you're really stretching and holding that position for a minute, it's almost like a meditation because you're breathing.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So you're not really thinking about nothing else, right? You
just try to hold meditation.
You know, you try to hold that position. That's why I encourage you. And also, it definitely relaxes the body. I used to suffer from pinched nerve. But since I've been doing the yoga and stretching, man, I ain't shit too tough, you know. So we give thanks for that. But there's another thing I want to mention, another thing I take, but I usually take it in the morning. I never took it at nettle. But when I notice, because I always take hibiscus at night in the morning.
Yeah.
When I mix the nettle with the hibiscus fire, it kind of give me a little vibe, tell you the truth. So I never took it at night. So I don't know if that's but I notice when I mix the hibiscus with the nettle. But you definitely need to figure out. And also what are the things stressing you out, man? I think we're so busy being in other people's business, we're not in our own business. And we need to analyze ourselves to see, like, what are the things that I am doing that I have control over that are triggering. I had a reasoning with a brethren, right, about the work situation. And he was talking. I said, Fire, come like you putting too much into the work. You get what I'm saying? Like you're overdoing it and stressing. You already met where you supposed to met. So I had to ask him, what's going on with you? Like, why do you want to do it? Why are you going to that point that is detrimental to yourself when it seemed like you already met the standard? So is it validation that you're looking for? Are you trying to conquer other people? Like, what are you trying to accomplish?
And sometimes I don't think it really come from a negative place. Because I'm realize of lately too, I feel a lot of good people I get thrown in at the fire when it comes to this whole stressful vibration. Yeah. And I think it's the environments a shape most of the stress with them.
Pressure of the environment.
The pressure of the environment. Like for instance, they talk about the bridging and thing, and the work environment would require this, and then everybody amongst it and the team, them get programmed towards this concept now. Now the expectations within the organization, even though they have certain set rules and certain things in place. One, all of these workplaces have all of these vacation days and limited vacation time. And whoever said they have unlimited, they might have it on paper, but culturally, culturally, it's like you're a blasphemy.
It's held against you.
It's like a blasphemy to.
That's like leaving on time certain places. You can't leave on time and all this weirdness.
So I find say like there's two groups of people when it comes to the world stress situation, where there's some who based off of what them I try to showboat and I try to maintain that, and then you have the next set of people them now, which I think majority of people on earth now kind of get caught in, where we become like robots. We've become like robots.
Succumb to the expectations.
Succumb to all of the expectations of organized. And I don't want people to feel like it's just work. Because if we think about outside of work now, there are so many stressors where contribute towards our deterioration as human being, and I kind of get with offbeat where we think about it, political views and I think again the social media thing, we can't go around the fact how much it really play a role. Because one of the key interesting things when we think about stress, with all these studies, realize that youths 14 and under have the highest stress level historically speaking for that age group, and that can go unnoticed. What is different between now and then?
And far, I think that, man, I would say that thing, but you see, when it comes to social media, a lot of the studies focus on like how it impacts youth. I don't think fire. Listen, even though yes, I have the social, I'm not on there, yo. I'm not on there. You get what I'm saying? I go on social media to find information for new guests.
Yeah.
That's like my main source of that. And I do have to post. I'm not on there. So like it becomes a little problem because even recently I finally went into Facebook Messenger and the brethren I was trying to link with for the conference linked me in September 16th. I found out the man reached out.
Yeah.
It's a radio program here in Philly I was trying to get to. The man reached out to me. So that's kind of the burden of my approach. But the social media thing I don't do, and I think that we need to acknowledge that it's a technology we can't handle. I think because you're an adult, you feel you can handle it, but most people can't. Either the mixture of wasted time or what I notice is that comparison, man, it's just like people really like, they really internalizing social media like it's real. The reason I don't do it is it's too much fight. It's just too much going on there. And it's too like that. And then it's like, it's majority of foolishness, yeah. Mm-hmm. Truth be told. So like, yeah, you can look at some little serious things, this and that, but it's just overstimulating to me to be exposed to so many different ideas in a short span. For me personally, it's just too much for me. I ain't gonna lie to you, right? YouTube's a little different. Not the shorts, but like YouTube. Mm-hmm. But like Instagram is just too much going on there.
It's a fragmented mindset it creates a fragmented mindset and it lead everybody to think them are experts. Yeah. So it's almost like when that reality really hits
too much information. That's what it is.
When the reality too much false and too much false information too. Because that's the next part right now, with all of these fragments hitting you so quickly. How you get time for process one information, much less move on to processing this.
Because fight when you're reading a
so
book.
It's an overload on the brain.
Overload. And it throw me off key. And like, when I'm reading a book, like the book I'm reading now, certain chapters I had to read 2-3 times, fire. You get the fullness of the reasoning and really get certain concepts because the thing on the heights. Yeah, my brain, I don't have time to be listening to these half arguments from 1,000 different people, yo. So it's just like, and I noticed too, it hurt me because a man fell away because I didn't realize till recently, like people take this thing serious, like liking their page and all that. If I ain't not on there to like no page, yo. Mm-hmm. If I go on there and see your thing, you see I gotta do a backlog, then I just go through it and show some love. But I'm not on there all the time, so most of the stuff I don't see. Mm-hmm. It's just the truth of the situation.
One get caught up in that and make it become the reality. But when we really sit down and think about this whole stress thing, though, I feel like the system have a role for play in this stress thing where we can't really make it remain hidden because the system very good at putting this fear in front of the people. Make them become so fearful of all of these different things, and then with this fearfulness what the system drive to the people, it becomes them live them whole life a try to counter that type of fear.
We saying we got the same idea. When you saying fear, I say expectation. I think the system has created an expectation for your life that you can't meet. That's what you're fighting to get. I think that's what's stressing people out.
The expectation
of the type of life you're supposed to live with, a standard of living, of the type of life you should be living. Mm-hmm. I think that's the stress.
But the two of them, you think the two of them equally? That's
what I'm saying. The same vibe.
Because here the two of them go hand in hand. Because you see the same expectation, you in a fear if you don't meet the expectation.
You get what I'm saying? That's why I said the thing hand in hand because
you're rough in a fire.
It's not like a man like, I will say this, if you set your standard of living, it's kind of liberating, right? But you gotta be strong enough to know that a person may look at you a certain way, or you're not meeting those boxes. You're not meeting those boxes of maturity. You're not meeting those boxes of success. You're not meeting those boxes of financial accomplishments. But how you gonna meet them when you're not playing their game?
You're rough, yeah.
I'm telling you, fire. Because listen, some of this stuff like people have to have, like it's just like, what's the package? You gotta have a house. right? That's the next stress because you're locked in 30 years.
Yeah.
And you're not locked into no type of income for 30 years. So the hedge on that one is tricky. Already.
And then push the Maslow hierarchy of needs. And yet still, your basic needs, you can't meet that basic need.
So you're throwing off already, right? Because like, as I said, you guarantee you locked in this rate, this price with this bank for 30 years. You have to pay that. If you don't, we know how to go already.
Yeah.
But you have not secured a 30-year thing of employment, not discouraging home ownership for anybody, but just the reality of it. So you're rolling the dice on that one, right? Two people work different places. That's 2 cars. Then due to the insecurity of the person already fight, you know that car bill could jump to all $1,000. All right. Then you got the car clothes.
Yeah.
Right? Depending on insecurity. You notice I keep saying insecurity.
And you can just break them down right off right on this. No, you can just break down the same concept because we talk about clothes. One, the prices for the basic clothes already high to a certain level for maintain the basic image. And then now you can talk about the other group now where I try to meet that expectation.
We talk to the insecurity level. Then now a man need a trip to brag about.
No, we're not going to say it. Food, member say,
food, man. I get the food fire. I get the food down, right?
I the kid of that.
We don't even say hype because my brother got 2 teenagers, athletes, and they just ravishing through food.
Let me eat food hard, man.
24/7, yeah. So just say food. We don't even talk about getting hype yet to eat now. We just talk about just so
basic maintenance,
the basic needs.
Food prices sky high.
Right? Far high. Listen. I have personally seen, let me give you a program. You know, it's a thing called Spring Drift, the thing I drink, the sparkling thing, right? It was $4.99. No sale. Like it was $4.99. I think it's 8 in the pack, if I'm wrong, right? $4.99. Same place as $7.99. The $4.99 was not sale. This is the price a couple years ago, last year. $7.19 right now, far right.
Yeah.
If you catch the sale, it goes $6.59. Depending on other places, maybe $5.99. $4.99 to $7.19.
Yeah.
Within 365 days.
Wicked. And what the irony say? What is the irony that America, the American trend in as it relates to stress is at an all-time high, and also inflation and the grocery price is at an all-time high.
All right.
Is that a coincidence?
But all right, that's just grocery that remember you're on the same income. We're on the same income.
And that's one characteristic of everything we name.
Out of the same income too, we have to acknowledge that healthcare probably did increase, most likely. So that's another reduction there.
Given
food is increased, which you need. You know what increased a lot too? People don't talk about material to maintain your house. Like Home Depot has got super expensive,
man. Not to mention Lowe's and all that, but it's done expensive already.
So it's like, and these things for a place to look away. So it's like you got
to maintain a paint, a bucket of paint for you. What are $60 for one of the small quarts, something of them.
All right, hold on now.
Yeah.
Then where else are we at? We said healthcare increase. We have that. What else increased? Everything increased, fire. Yo, you know what's the next joke? I think we spoke about farmers market, a joke right now, yeah. Because the farmers market used to be the thing where you're getting this higher quality at lower price. Farmers market just as
expensive as the regular thing too.
Yeah.
And it crazy fire because when you sit down and check it now, then the same work where it's practically one of the biggest stressors will lead to the overall stress rate going up.
Yeah.
When them look on the people them and tell them so them give them increase and them give them we call it something like living, cost of living, like the cost of living increase. And you sit down and check it and the man look over 1%, 2%.
That's how they hustle. They never give you the full.
And then hold on. Them tell the people them congratulations.
But you're in a blessing. 2 things I want to touch on before I touch on other things. You're in the blessing if you get an increase. I just read an article at Volkswagen that they were telling everybody that they got to do a 20% decrease on their income. At the main factory or whatever.
Yeah.
Tens of thousands of workers.
See,
it's not a conversation. I think it's a thing that's going to be executed. 20% decrease in their income. In an environment where everything is more expensive, how does that work?
More stress.
More stress. Obviously, rent going up. car
more
notes,
stress.
car note going up because you can't lease a car right now if I without the $10,000 down
Well,
payment.
you can't just touch the rent part there, so for you and slide it. Wait a minute. You can't just bring that to the conversation and drop it out, so for you. Well, the rent. Mention the mortgage part and the house part and thing, but rent. Yeah. There's no stabilization on any of these rents, and then most of these people, if you're paying an HOA, if you ever live in an apartment or these things, you have to pay HOA or maintenance fee. This maintenance fee are creeping through the whole roof, and there's no stabilization on most of them. So today, somebody rent can be $1,700. Then as the lease up or whatever, them just renew a lease at $2,000. How people maintain and sustain all of that now? It become crazy.
And fine, that's what I was saying earlier. I don't think you should, if you're a responsible person. I'm not talking about people out here doing craziness. Mm-hmm. You can't really feel away because you're not generating enough to deal with this environment. I will say though, right? I will say that with all that has been said, you have to find things to do, identify areas you can kind of clean up to reduce stress.
Yeah, because you're not a complaint thing alone, yeah.
And your personal life and your financial life. Some of the shopping we're doing because we're lonely, because we're bored. Mm-hmm. I think personally, you should remove all the shopping apps off your phone because it limits the rationale, limits that time you give yourself to talk yourself out of that situation. You agree what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's on the phone, boop, boop, boop. Payment probably automatic too. You don't got to put it. So it's just too automated. It's too automated. So like you don't have enough time to have a conversation with yourself.
The need for this product.
So if you can't give yourself, like, I know they have different things like, give yourself an hour, give this. I would just remove it. So when you do order and going through the whole process of actually filling out the card and all that, probably cool you down. So you have to do that, right? You have to find alternatives to this thing because like
Jeff Bezos, I said, boy, I will come with
the shop therapy thing is not like it's beneficial because they don't realize, I know you're trying to soothe and have a little vibe, but you're actually putting more stress on yourself because the credit card is increasing, right? Mm-hmm. Brothers, I hear this all the time about they going strip club, they buying bottles and all that. I know you're trying to escape and have a good time, but you're actually stressing yourself out for it because you're spending money you don't have or you're putting it on the card, you're raising your credit card, right? You have to get up on your health. You need a routine. You need a mental health routine, fam. You need a mental health routine, yeah. Because as you get your routine together, a mixture of good conversation with friends, being distanced from other people, working out, walking, trying to eat properly, slowing down. You have to, you got to set time to cook. Yo. I think you have to make time to cook because cook is like a therapeutic reference time for you.
Yeah, you determine cooking. What is going in your body and how the way it goes in, what the process will take place before that. And I think there's something we can't talk about stress and when we discuss those. Like there's two types of wounds and people need to understand that very clearly. There's two types of wounds. There's not just one wound. There's an internal wound that is suffered by your behavior based off of how you react to whatever is being provided or the situation that you're in that causes more stress. Yeah. And then there's that external conflict where they would have talked about the system, these pressures placed upon us by the system, the infrastructure that's there. So we have to be very, very careful and cognizant of those. Are you shooting yourself in the foot? Or is someone is running you down and you're trying to escape from getting shot? Yeah. So it's a difference, you have to know which bracket you're in, because if you don't know the bracket that you're in, then believe me, that will pile up more stress, because it's one thing for actually buy a product online and tell yourself that you need it but when you really assess the situation, oh shit, I have 4 of those already in different color.
Not even wearing.
I'm not even wearing any of those, but I just bought this and classified it as a need.
And that's where the thing in regards to really analyzing ourselves is just like, even me, sometimes I see something and say, yo, I play with
human
Blair.
nature.
I play with Blair. We use our wording, right? Because she'll even correct me now. She's like, you don't need that. You want it. Because I play around saying it so much, and it's like, I don't need it, but I want it. Mm-hmm. And just by having that conversation, cool you off and just go about your day.
That's why you have to talk to yourself. Because
you talk to yourself. You talk yourself out of foolishness, because you're the one stuck with the bill.
And talk yourself out of stress too. Because, all right, you see, The moments in that, me as a man, I'm going to face stress already multiple times, and really and truly, we think about it. We said to ourselves, so, you know, Kevin Hart said something, laugh at my pain. And it's very funny. We realize comedians do it a lot. Them laugh after themselves. It's very important when in a high stress environment and a high stress situation for find means to laugh. And laughing at yourself for what you've done wrong or what you haven't improved on the best is a very, very effective strategy for cool off stress when a lot of people overlook.
Taking yourself too seriously.
Yeah, like, damn, this serious, but this serious, we're down 40,000 in debt, but guess what? I'm still here.
I think putting things in context, but that's a skill though. That's a skill.
Yeah, over time.
Putting things in context and not beating yourself up, but at the same time, not putting yourself in terrible situations. I think that's what life is gonna happen for you, right? Yeah. But we need to minimize how we add to the pressure. I think that needs to be the focal point, And everyone out there, as I said, man, there's abundance due to time, but there's abundance of stuff you can do to reduce your stress. But I think you definitely need a regimen. Have to get your herbs and teas in there, your herbs and roots.
What kind of herbs? I agree.
That's right. Yeah. I had to get your herbs and roots in, right?
I look a walk,
Gotta get walking. It's good if you can exercise it. You just need something to move your body.
Yeah.
But
time to yourself, I look a bit.
Time to yourself, right? Get outside. Listen to good music too. A lot of the music people listen to stressing them out because I was on the Spotify and I went down the hip hop lane and it started stressing me out, because some of the songs are demeaning to you, you're horrible, you just trash because you don't have this material thing. That's the message I get from the song. That's all they're saying. I have this, you don't have this, you super corny. And depending on how you process stuff, it kind of throw off your energy in a sense. It's not a good. And with the music, stop listening to music. Music don't need to have lyrics all the time, Fire.
Yeah, that make people talk too much.
Listen something just with the little, some different things, some harps or something, and some little Buddhist playlist I got with the flutes and all that, just an energy, and just kick back.
Yeah, it's very important.
Serious thing. But everybody out there, man, I just say don't stress out yourself too much from the system, and just try to do your best to learn more about yourself and learn ways you can.
Yeah, just keep it simple for you. Yeah, simplicity we use to survive. It can work, man.
Big time,